India's power sector is undergoing yet one more a very powerful transformation journey with increased targets on the renewable energy. If you look at segments like power transmission, power generation, power distribution, and even power equipment related manufacturing companies, we are seeing a great transformation and a great demand. Hi, welcome everyone to yet one more powerful video on the entire power sector analysis, and we'll go deep into all the layers of power generation. What are all the listed companies available? What are all the risks involved? What are all the opportunities involved? What kind of an investment opportunities we are getting? And how is the capital expenditure which these companies are spending in all of these sectors we will be discussing today. If anyone of you are not aware, my name is Ganesh Komma. I'm a finance and a stock market coach. I have an overall experience of more than 16 plus years in the Indian stock market. And I manage a community of active investors and traders. I call the community as Financial Freedom Implementation Program, and we combine fundamentals along with technicals to go deep dive into investing. And now what we will do, we'll go into the deeper concepts of the entire power sector, right? So without any further ado, let me share my screen and let's discuss about the yet one more super cycle, right? The entire power theme, and we'll do an entire ecosystem breakdown and what are all the investing opportunities which an Indian investor has. We will discuss the entire power sector. Before we move, a quick disclaimer. As you know, we are SEBI registered, right? I'm a SEBI registered research analyst. So any stocks or sectors which I discuss in this session, please do not consider them as any buy, add or a sell recommendation. Rather consider purely as an educational purpose, as a case study, right? So some of the stocks which we discuss here, I would have discussed with my community members, or I would have in my portfolio as well. So don't consider them as any recommendation. Rather use that as purely for an educational purpose and consider that as a case study. Now, if we move to the entire segment of power, the installed capacity is at around 450 plus gigawatts. And if you look at the renewable energy share is around 40% and it is increasing. And the market valuation itself is around more than 4.3 trillion plus rupees. And India is one of the world's third largest electricity market, and the demand is continuously increasing because of electrical vehicles, because of AI, the data centers theme and the remaining segments, right? And you look at renewable energy, it's a rapid transition it is happening, and government has a target of 500 gigawatts of only renewable energy by 2030. And if you look at power grid, yes, it is scaling at a capital expenditure of around 32%, roughly around 37,000 crores transmission super cycle. And now, as we see the entire framework of power sector, some of the key questions which you need to ask yourself is India entering into a super cycle in terms of power. What is the expectation in all the different layers of power cycle, and what is the kind of a capital expenditure? What is the real money flowing is something we need to ask. And third, among all these segments, where is more demand coming out? We need to watch out. And if you look at this entire demand, it is more structural rather than cyclical. This is not a cyclical play. It is purely a structural play, because EV, when I speak about electrical vehicles adoption, by 2030, the expectation is around 30 million plus electrical vehicles, and we have a massive charging load demand. Coming to data centers, yes, AI boom is driving hyperscale build out across India. Manufacturing push, your PLI schemes, right, is pulling energy incentive industries onshore. Your production linked incentive schemes is creating a lot of manufacturing demand. And urban electrification, rising per capita consumption in tier 2 and tier 3 cities is creating a lot of electricity demand in India, and it is no more optional. It is purely a structural play. And if you look at the Capex cycle, capital expenditure, the investment wave which is coming here is close to the tune of $20.5 trillion. And now, what is happening in the entire power sector? If I give you a brief about how this entire power sector is segmented, we have four layers to it. Yes, we have generation, which is around 45% is on the power generation, which involves more about power plants producing electricity from various sources. Transmission, 20%. This is where high voltage networks moving power across regions. And distribution, which is the last mile delivery to customers, around 25%. And equipment, which is very, very important because the kind of order book which the transformers have now is like multi-year highs, right? So the equipment is around 10%. So the manufacturing of power generation, transmission and distribution equipment is huge. So the entire power is segmented into four segments, right? The entire power sector: generation, transmission, distribution and equipment. Now, if you look at all these four key segments, power generation, yes, it works. The nature of the power generation is more on competitive bidding, and transmission is like regulated returns, the nature, and distribution is more about reforms, and equipment is more on order book, right? And if you look at the kind of an order book is like humongous. And if we go through each of the segments, when I speak about power generation, it is more on a scale driven stability. And some of the key players in power generation are, we have NTPC Limited, which is India's largest power producer. Tata Power, a diversified clean energy pivot. And JSW Energy, which is more into aggressive capacity expansion. And even Adani Power, a thermal plus a renewable scale. And please remember, none of the stocks which we quote here, do not consider them as any advice of a buy, add or a sell. Purely consider it as a case study or for educational purpose. So this is about the generation, power generation related. When I come to power transmission, which is a mandatory infrastructure for the power sector, we have some of the key stocks like Power Grid Corporation, which is India's transmission backbone. And if you look at the capital expenditure that is coming here, it is growing at a year on year, a 32% year on year capital expenditure growth we are experiencing here. And Adani Energy, which is a private sector challenger with aggressive build out. And every megawatt of new generation demands transmission infrastructure. And let's look at distribution and smart metering. Here we have stocks like your Torrent Power, which is an efficient in operations, and it is expanding its footprint. And let's come to the next segment, which is equipment. Transformers and switchgears. We are seeing a tremendous order book, and whatever are the order books particular to transformers are right now like a multi-year highs. And companies like CG Power focuses more on the transformer and the domestic, and this is one of the domestic transformer leader. Hitachi Energy, which is your Power India, global technology, local execution. And Siemens Limited, a diversified electrical portfolio. And not only that, in the equipment, if you focus on the cables, EPC, engineering, procurement and construction related, the order book is crazy. Even if you have been tracking, recently KA Industries has announced, right, one of the spokesperson, the demand for the cables industry, specifically catering to the data center or the AI theme, there is a 25,000 crores opportunity only for the cable industry perspective to AI or data center theme, right? So the cables and EPC, yes, we have Polycab India, which is India's largest wire and cable manufacturer. KA Industries, strong business to business cable franchise. Apar Industries, one more global conductor supplier. Larsen and Toubro, which is a very good long-term company, India's EPC giant, energy segment growing, and it has its equal contribution in the infrastructure, even in data centers. It is providing a turnkey projects. And even KEC International on the transmission line, EPC specialist. Now what I have done, in this entire themes, right? If you look at a diversified portfolio across generation, transmission, and equipment sector, I've just created a sample portfolio, especially on the power theme, right? Now, if you look at NTPC Limited, focusing more on power generation, right? Either on the thermal or on the renewable. Power Grid Corporation, power transmission. Suzlon, mainly on the wind energy equipment. Technically, it is weak now. Tata Power, integrated power. Adani Power, again thermal power generation. CG Power and Industrial is more about power transformers and equipment. GE Vernova, very good player in the transmission equipment. BHEL, power equipment. And Adani Green, renewable power. So if you just create a sample portfolio out of it, and let me show you on the charts, on technicals, right? So if we go to a trading view, and I just take a sample portfolio of power sector, and I'll also load the freedom indicator, right? And if anyone of you are not aware about the freedom indicator is a proprietary indicator. It's a custom indicator which we have designed, and all the platinum members in our community will have access to it, right? So if you look at it, yes, when I look at the power sector, the sample portfolio related, if you see on a weekly time frame, right? So this is a chart where I have loaded on a weekly time frame. Yes, it is on the verge of breakout. After a very long consolidation, the entire theme, right, if you see, is picking up good. Even from the last couple of weeks, even GE Vernova, as we see, after a good consolidation for the last couple of weeks, we are seeing some good momentum. BHEL, again, at a very good zone. Adani Power, Suzlon, yes, technically it's a breakdown, slightly weak. Adani Green Energy, Tata Power, again at a good breakout zone, right? NTPC picking up very good strength after a continuous weakness almost for the last 2.5 years. We are seeing some good offshoots of strength coming out. Even on your power grid, some good strength picking up in the last 2-3 weeks, right? So this is a quick view about what's happening in the entire power theme. Now, as we go more into what are all the growth drivers, looking at the next 3 years or like a 5 years catalyst. 500 gigawatts renewable energy is the target, right? So the national target driving massive capacity addition, right? And a 28 gigawatt storage in terms of battery and pumped hydro solving intermittency. And green hydrogen, a new demand which is emerging in the heavy industry decarbonization. And electrical vehicles charging, as I told you, by 2030, the demand is, or the expectation is, the EV vehicles will reach around 30 million plus. And when 30 million plus EV vehicles is the focus, nationwide charging infrastructure, a clear build out is happening there. And the smart grids, AI driven grid management and demand response is also giving a push for the AI or even the data center theme. So this clearly shows a 5-year catalyst is clearly visible. And if you look at the multiplier effect, every 1 megawatt that has been installed, it triggers a cascade of downstream demand across the value chain. So it's like a multiplier effect. Let's say 1 megawatt installed. Transformers, cables, EPC contracts and substations is a part of the value chain. This is why the power theme is creating a multi-sector tailwinds and not a single stock thesis. And if you look at the key government initiatives, yes, if you look at PM Kusum project, which is mostly focusing on the solar pumps for farmers and grid connected solar, where 30 gigawatts is the focus by 2030. Uday scheme, which is mostly on the financial turnaround of distribution companies, all discoms related. Renewable energy target, 500 gigawatts by 2030. It's an ambitious clean energy expansion. smart grid mission, grid modernization and digital transformation, which is a national coverage. Green energy corridor, yes, it's a 20 gigawatts capacity, transmission for renewable energy evacuation. And lastly, PLI scheme, production linked incentive, manufacturing incentives for solar and batteries theme, which is around 24,000 crores is the project layout. Now, it will be incomplete if we do not discuss about the risks and the realities. What is the risks and the framework? Clearly, DISCOM financial stress can be a severity like your payment delays or your subsidy gaps. If there is a delay in the subsidy, that could be a potential risk. Second, land acquisition delay. The risk or the severity is also high. We have to watch out the project timelines. Is there any slippage or not? Third, regulatory uncertainty, right? Considering the kind of a demand or the government's focus on this, severity is not high, it is moderate. If any policy reversals or if any tariff disputes could be one of the risks. And lastly, coal supply disruptions. The severity is medium, like we are mostly dependent on importing coal because the purity of domestic coal is very less. Like let's say if you are importing coal from Indonesia, right? The purity of coal is better there. So the import dependency and the logistics may be impacted, right? So this is like a theme which moves in waves. So no theme will have a clear straight line. Okay. And lastly, if someone is not aware, yes, whoever wanted to learn more about investing and trading related, I do conduct some free sessions. The link is here. You can join with this link. I wanted to learn more about fundamentals. I wanted to learn more about technicals. I want to become a smart and an intelligent investor. We conduct some free masterclass, which is a combination of fundamentals along with technicals, how you can use AI for your analysis. We conduct a free masterclass. Ensure you are there in that free masterclass to learn more about how you can create a successive investing portfolio and how you can generate a passive income from your investments. Okay. Now coming to this theme of power sector, if you look at the entire investment framework and some final conclusionary words, look at whether the capital expenditure is visible or not, right? Is there more capital expenditure that is happening? That's the first thing to watch out. Second, any company which you are tracking in this power sector, how is the order book flow? Is the order book increasing or not? Third, debt. All these companies which requires heavy manufacturing investment, is the debt manageable or not? Is it over leveraged or under leveraged? Leverage is very, very important. Are margins improving, right? The order book is good, the projects are good. Are the margins of the company improving or not is what we need to check. And lastly, is the theme structural or cyclical? Looking at the order book, looking at the long-term projects, it's clearly evident it is structural, but we have to watch out. So right now, if you see Indian power sector, we are in an early to mid capital expenditure cycle. This is like a 5 to 8 years, a structural opportunity. And if anyone who are a serious investor and a long-term investor should be a part of this power theme, and stocks or the segments, even like equipment related, where we are seeing a multi-year high transformers order books, you should be there considering this is a long-term structural growth cycle. And I want you to let me know in the comment section of this video, what are your key takeaways of this learning and some of the stocks where you are tracking or you have a watch list of these stocks, and what is your view going forward for the sector or the stocks. Do let me know in the comment section, and also let me know what is that next sector which I should be covering in the next session. Yeah, thank you.